Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in today to the Liberty Report. Today, we have a special announcement to make. We want to give you an update on our conference in Washington, D.C., the Peace and Prosperity Conference that Daniel has been working on very, very hard. And he actually has some pretty good news because I think our expectations, we set them pretty low, but he has exceeded our expectations. Things are going well, and he'd like to give us a little update on what we can expect at our conference here on September 10th.
Yeah, I remember when we first started planning this at the end of the winter, and we thought, gosh, should we commit to having 2 sections of this ballroom, and that would be 160 people, and you said, well, go ahead, let's see what happens. But we've slowly been adding sections, and we hit a brick wall a couple of weeks ago. I even sent out a notice saying we're close to being sold out, and we hit a brick wall where we really sold all the tickets. But it turns out right after that, the people who had the last 2 sections of the grand ballroom canceled their event. So we snatched those up right away. And so we do have some seats left. There are not a lot of them left, but there are some left. And so you can find out ronpaulinstitute.org. On the upper right-hand corner, you'll see how you can get those tickets to the conference. So we do have some left.
Okay. Now, can you give us a brief outline? It wouldn't take you too long to let the people know who they can expect to hear at this conference.
Yeah, I was talking to Lou Rockwell the other day, and I said, gosh, this is the kind of conference I would go to. So, all the people that I admire so much. But, we have a special guest appearance with Representative Thomas Massey, who we both admire very much. And he'll make a few remarks and start it out, basically. But then we have Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, who was the Chief of Staff to Colin Powell, and he's going to talk about war, the surest route to tyranny. That sounds exciting. Lou Rockwell is going to join us, how war warps and deforms morally and materially. That sounds great. Jacob Hornberger is going to come and talk to us about Republic, not Empire. And Phil Giraldi, an old friend of ours, former CIA officer, he's going to talk about the American deep state and the persistence of an interventionist foreign policy. That sounds good. And then we're going to have a panel, a shorter panel to mix it up. We're going to have old friend of ours, John Sharp, who did those books on neocon, The Burden of Patriotism and the Sanctity of Civil Law. Paul Martin Foss, our old colleague up on the Hill, is going to talk about the symbiotic relationship between central banking and total war, something that we focus a lot on. Brian McGlinchey from 28pages.org is going to talk about revealing foreign policy hypocrisy, 28 pages at a time. And finally, Jessica Pavoni, an old friend of the Institute's, one of our earliest and dearest friends, who's became a conscientious objector from the Air Force. She's going to talk about individual accountability in times of war. And then, last but not least, I heard a rumor that an ex-congressman turned TV star is going to address us and give us some words of encouragement.
Well, don't hold your breath for all that, but we'll do our very best. But when we do our program, sometimes we feel lonely. But our supporters and the people who do become subscribers to YouTube is very encouraging. Like you mentioned before about how many we have, nearly 50,000. This is very encouraging. But with a group of speakers like that, we're not alone out there. We can't possibly be alone. And we are reflecting what they have done in the past. And so many have done things in the past that we are more or less a reflection of what's happening, in this movement, the movement toward peace and prosperity. I can't imagine anybody being opposed to peace and prosperity. And yet we do run into opposition.
Yeah, we do. And just to remind everyone, September the 10th, at the Washington Dulles Airport Marriott, starting from 9:30. The conference starts at 10, and we'll wrap up by 3. So we're going to do a lot in a short time. We hope to see all of you there.